LucasArts is no stranger to the Xbox, with over a dozen Star Wars games on the system alone. But in 2003, they tapped former Earthworm Jim and MDK lead artist Nick Brudi and the newly formed Planet Moon Studios to build a third-person shooter loaded with trademark LucasArts adventure game personality. This is Armed and Dangerous.
Outside.
Who's there? Calm down. It's me, Rome. Pack your things, we're leaving.
And take a bath, laddie. You're making my eyes water.
Is that you, Jonesy? You ugly rat.
I'm a mole, you smelly git. You're still as irritating as ever.
Were you followed? Don't ask questions. King Forge's men are coming after you. I'm not surprised. You're in all the newspapers. You probably led them here. Now get out before... Rexus, the king has linked you to the Book of Rule. Link me to it? What are you talking about? Don't you remember?
As the game promptly reveals, you're part of a group of mercenaries who are in search of the Book of Rule, which is both useful in pressing flowers and is the greatest magical artifact known to this world. Roman, the leader, has brought his group, the Lionhearts, to retrieve an old blind man, Rexus, keeping him out of the hands of King Forge, who knows that Rexus is tied to the book and capable of unlocking its powers. So instead, the Lionhearts want to steal the book for themselves. The story setup here is epic in scale, but goes off the rails quickly as Rexus is captured and must be broken out of prison.
Oh! My flies!
Move it! And kill the Lionhearts!
Yeah, too.
Missions offer a good mix of objectives. You'll play as Roman, with the Steambot / Tea Kettle Q, the Demolitions Expert and Mole Jonesy, and the Blind Man Rexus joining you when the story warrants it. Most of the time you'll be on foot eliminating enemies while rescuing villagers, blowing up scaffolding, rocket towers, barricades, or enemy houses to push the story forward. Add a jetpack to some levels, and I'm sure you can see how crazy this can get. In the on-foot levels, you'll come across buildings that function as barracks, which will continue to spawn enemies until they're destroyed. Knock these out as fast as you can. 2 sticky bombs will usually do the trick. And while it's not a true wave shooter like Serious Sam, there are some Serious Sam-like moments where you have to take out everything that moves. A few stationary turret sections are peppered in here and there, where you'll need to keep waves of enemies from breaching a section of a city wall. These turret levels are a nice way to mix up the gameplay. Just make sure you keep moving side to side to avoid gunfire and shoot everything. The key to a good third-person shooter is a nice variety of weapons, and Armed and Dangerous delivers there. Aside from your standard machine gun and longer range rifles, this tuba-looking gun is a mortar launcher, while this other one shoots out multiple homing missiles. But all of these take a backseat to maybe one of the best weapons I've ever wielded in any game, the Landshark gun. Ammo drops are frequent, so don't be afraid to use your secondary weapons like sticky bombs and gas grenades. There's plenty more that will drop as you eliminate enemies. The story itself plays out through cutscenes which bookend each gameplay segment. The cutscenes come across a little dated, which makes sense. It's from 2003, but it's almost like someone got a hold of Windows Movie Maker and was working on some early 3D animation. For the main characters, their designs are unique and memorable, but some of the others, especially these villagers with their blank stares and gnarly smiles, seem like they could use a little more work, but through the lens of what this game is trying to convey, it all just works. Add to that, the voice acting is really well done, and I enjoyed the dialogue that seems like it was very Monty Python inspired and honestly pretty funny.
On the contrary, young girl, there are things far, far greater than simple childhood stories. Things you do not yet understand. Indeed, the Lady of the Pond is real, and only I, Rexus, know the way to her.
Yes, but you're as blind as a bat, you silly sod.
Jones, why do you mock me so?
If you don't still have your Xbox hooked up, Armed and Dangerous is backwards compatible on the Xbox 360 and was added to Xbox One backwards compatibility in 2019. If you currently have Xbox Live Gold or Game Pass Ultimate, it's also available as a game with gold through the end of September, so snag it for free if you haven't already. Armed and Dangerous was a pleasant surprise for me, even with the LucasArts pedigree and the Editor's Choice Award from OXM right across the box art. It doesn't require a ton of time to play and does offer higher difficulties for replayability. The time I spent was enjoyable and just challenging enough, so I'd say yes, pick this one up. And while the cost of a physical copy is still very reasonable, if you wanted to go digital with it, Armed and Dangerous should be playable through at least the 9th console generation. And I can't wait to see what they're able to do with the boost in processing power. Maybe we can talk about that some other day. If you enjoyed this review, be sure you're subscribed so you know when the next one drops, and hit that like button. It really helps YouTube know that it'd be a great one to share with other Xbox fans. I'm always intrigued to hear about games that people love for the system, so you really should leave me a comment about one of your favorite Xbox titles. Maybe someday we'll get around to a briefing all about that too. That should about do it for today for Xboxer Briefs. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.